How's it going, my friends, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're going to be looking at Games Workshop's Imperial Knight, Knight Protector Canis Rex. So for the majority of this video I'm just going to probably just ramble a bit through it, because I know these videos in particular aren't like you guys' cup of tea all the time, but I like to sort of show off, you know, pretty much every sort of job I do. So in general, the model is, you know, it's nicely detailed, goes together, you know, really simple. The instructions are really good as well. They're a little bit similar to Airfix's sort of starter sets, so you know they're quite easy to follow. Now the problem I have with these sort of models, and I don't do them very often, mainly because they're too expensive, I think, for what they are. I mean, they're probably not so bad if you're, you know, making the model to play, but if you just, you know, just make it like I am, just for a bit of fun, you know, I think they're a bit pricey. I mean, this kit was on sale at about 90 quid, which I think was way too expensive, but I managed to get it for 60 because the guy was trying to get rid of the stock. So anyway, I really enjoyed the kit anyway. It wasn't too bad. As you can see, I've tried to put some electrics into the model, try and make it a little bit more interesting. I tried to put some in the shoulder pads, but they didn't work. Later on they got ripped out. Tried doing a little bit of texture around the exhausts. I actually used Mr. Surfacer for this, but didn't really work out, so just worked stuck with the putting. For the most part, the paint job was quite basic. All the metal work was prime black with a dry brush of gun metal. Most of the paint work went into sort of like the shoulder pads and all sort of like the armory type stuff on the model. So once that, the paint job in general, I didn't go very inventive with the colour on this. I just went for general sort of like kind of ultramarine blue type colour. Did quite a bit of post shading and sort of a little bit of pre-shading, but mostly post shading, because I wanted a lot of dark recesses around the armour panels there, to try and show kind of like a bit of depth and also help show up some of the grime. For some reason I was a bit all over the place with some of this, so the model got a bit of a wash with engine turbine from AK. I also put the battery in. As you can see, I was very all over the place with a lot of this model. I was just doing it in weird bits, because this one was done before I moved, so there was, you know, I'm going to do a bit of this, do a bit of that, and just sort of, yeah, it was a little bit all over the place. So sorry if it jumps backwards and forwards a little bit. I mean, from here on it should be pretty much quite straightforward. So for around the panels, I did a bit of stippling with some gun metal, and then gave that a full wash with some Tamiya panel liners, pretty much like I do with everything. I also melted that in, blended that in around the shoulder pads again, to give that sort of bit of a grimy sort of dark look. If anyone knows about chapters and stuff for Games Workshop, I've made this one up, so don't you know, start saying, oh, that's wrong, because I just did this for a bit of fun. I just used the decals I liked. So I went over the whole all the armour stuff with some chipping, all pretty much hand painted. So I started off with the lighter colours of the base coat, and then to make it look like these chips went a little bit further, we used a darky brown colour for the centre of those larger chips. Then I went in with some AK light rust. Again, as always, just sort of dabbed it in the areas of the heavy chipping mainly, and then just sort of blended those in a little bit and did a little bit of streaking. Again, to make this you know, model look like it's, you know, pretty old, because these machines in lore could be, you know, like thousands, millennia year old. So I tried to sort of emulate a little bit, and a little bit of sort of copper rust. It's not really rusting, but you know, when the copper sort of starts to react with weather. The exhaust stacks, again using the light rust and a bit of dark rust there, all blended in, and a little bit of soot around the exhaust stacks as well. The base, generally quite simple. Used a good couple of stones from the garden, and then used AK's terrain paste. I used a couple of the versions, sort of a thicker and lighter, but the light one wasn't too overly happy with. So while it was wet, I used some sort of like grit and sand in there. Gave everything a bit of a dry brush with some rust tones, so sort of like a Marsy type sort of scenery, and again some accent panel line in there as well, and sort of gave a bit of dab. I didn't sort of really wash it off as such. I used some rust pigment for the dust up the legs there, and just sort of blended all that in. So there you go. It says it's pretty quick build. I really just wanted to show the model off and what I've done, but I thought I'll give you a little bit of a bit of a quick look into how this one was done, because it was generally quick, short build. Because this thing what I find with the Games Workshop stuff is quite quick and simple to do if you want a bit of fun, basically. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on. We'll jump straight into showing you the finished model. But before that, I want to say thank you ever so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that very short, but I do hope you enjoy more of the finished model itself, since I quite enjoyed it doing this, and I actually think it turned out really well. So again, guys, thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you've enjoyed the finished model.